Hi, this is Brent from Studio One Expert, and in this free four-part series, we're going to be taking a look at some Waves plugins and how we can use them to transform our drum sound. To begin with, we're going to be looking at the CLA MixHub in this first video, followed by the Abbey Road Saturator, F6, and the new Studio Rack, which is now free on the Waves site. So let's have a listen to what the song sounds like with all of the plugins enabled and then bypassed. And bypassed. So obviously there is some clear gain and level difference here, but the main focus here is how we've elevated the EQ, the compression, and the overall dynamic range of each instance of these drum tracks. So let's enable these first two drum tracks and have a look at what the CLA MixHub is doing. So I have this first track here. Which has got a lot of low-end thump, and it really provides that sort of that grit and also the drive to the track. Now with this second track, I want to bring out the top-end sheen and more of the crack and the sizzle. So what I've done with the CLA MixHub is, using a spectrum analyzer which comes through the PreSonus, I've had a look at the conflicting EQ regions, and I've rolled off all the way up to 90 hertz here. I've drove the mic channel and a little bit of the line channel and the mic channel in coordination, and then what I've done is I've brought out a lot of the high frequencies and high mid frequencies. So this is a very sort of Chris Lord-Alge EQ move, and this is actually a sizzle preset, as we can see, but I have adjusted it to the taste of this track so it works in context. I've then gone in with the Bluey, which is the Blue Style 1176, and then a little bit of an expander below here, dialed in the compression mix, and finally insert a J37, which is another thing I love about the CLA MixHub. The great thing about the MixHub, similar to the Artist Series channel strips like the Shep's Omni channel, is you can adjust whereabouts these plugins are. So I've got the J37 here incorporated in this channel strip, which you would never have been able to do on something like this SSL console. So it's a really good sort of old meets new hybrid workflow. Now let's have a listen to what this is doing in context with this track. So we can really hear that the biggest moves here are the compression and certainly that top end EQ. Combined with the previous track, the two of them here are really going to elevate and make that drum sound bigger, wider, punchier. You've still got the low end from the original track, and then you're not having any conflicting EQ with the second one. There's no masking issues with the low end because we're just focusing on bringing out the top end sort of smack and sheen. So let's have a listen to what the EQ is doing here. And now the dynamic section. So we can hear the EQ is doing a massive job there, even though we're not boosting a ton on the high frequencies, but the high mids is really coming through, and we're being really sort of severe with this, but it just works in context with the track. That's what you need to remember. And then with the dynamic section, we're actually starting to control a little bit of the dynamic frequencies. So we are squashing it, but we're making sure that we can still get plenty of punch and transients. We've got a 4:1 ratio, the threshold set fairly low, and we've got a super fast attack and release, so we get that sort of pumping action. And that's also working in conjunction with our expander below here. Combine that with the J37, which has got a little bit of slapback delay, and we have our desired drum sound. So combined the original with this, and without. So it really brings out that top end sheen and that smack that we need to drive this sort of epic track along. So I hope that you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next video.